Breaking news, people deluded. I'm back again. Big up everybody tuned in. Allegedly, Kai Havertz in his latest game for Germany played left back, people. Let's hope Mikel Arteta doesn't get any ideas. It's a bit of an unusual role, really and truly, for Kai Havertz. It's not a position you expect him to fulfill. But I do think when you look beneath the surface, playing devil's advocate, there's actually some benefits. He offers a team height. Obviously, he's not going to play as a traditional sort of left back. You'd imagine that when he does play left back, it's going to be in an unconventional way, in a team where you expect to, against a team that you expect to have the bulk of possession. Obviously, it gives you a lot of height, and I guess he must have inverted at some point. Really, he did score. I'm sure there's some benefits. Now, again, cons. You need to Mikel Arteta needs to make it work in central midfield for Kai Havertz. You know, we spent £65 million on this man. It has to work. You know, it's another position for a player that is fairly versatile, but is he a jack of all trades and master of none? The Kai Havertz conundrum continues, and you could argue there's many reasons he could play left back for Germany and Arsenal. He's got more height than Zinchenko. Now, he did concede a penalty, harsh one really. It's them penalties that are given in today's day and age. You don't really want to see that, people. Nagelsmann said he doesn't see it as a risk and said Kai had a willingness to try it out and do it for the cause, people, which I can't blame him for. You know, if he's willing to put his position on the line for the national team, why not? He then said, I have a good idea. He's an exceptional good footballer. This is a very good option. He won't always play as a classic left back. So he's just a versatile player. You know, he got a 7 odd rating on SofaScore. Let's just hope Mikel Arteta doesn't get any ideas. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to see Kai Havertz there. Gabriel Jesus allegedly is nearing fitness, people, and you would have seen emerging footage of him in the Brazilian national team training setup. Romano has said he's fit, and there's also rumors he could be set to play against Argentina, better yet start against Argentina, and some of you would have seen the images. I'm not going to lie, big up Jesus, but you need to rest that leg up, my guy, if I'm honest with you. Apparently, him and Martinelli and Gabriel would have just 72 hours between the game against Argentina and on Wednesday, and obviously when we recommence against Brentford. Now, that's the sort of headlines and all those stuff for players that are already at the club. Let's see what the latest headlines are saying for players away from the football club, Pete. Now, you lot know we've been linked with Zubimendi of Sociedad. Apparently, Xavi has asked Barcelona to sign him. Speaking of Barcelona, one-term Arsenal target, and now Spurs man Rafinha has been linked with a move away. I wonder if we spin the block in that regards. Once again, we've been linked with a move for Vlahovic and also in the January market. In addition to that, Mikel Arteta has allegedly demanded the signing of Ruben Neves in this January window. Thomas Partey is a man who is currently injured at the moment, but rumors of a departure away from Arsenal won't go away. He's said to have met Juventus's counterparts to get a move sorted. Fabrizio Romano has kind of doubled down on our rumors linking us with Douglas Luiz. Marseille have been linked with a loan move for Fabio Vieira, who recently played for the under-21s. We've been linked with a young player at Valencia in Gazirovski, people. He's 18 years of age. Benjamin White, I'm sure he's missing a lot of his colleagues. Why he's not in the England team, I don't know, but Romano has said talks are moving in the right direction for him and a new deal. Now, I don't know about you lot, people, but the idea in relation to Kai Havertz playing as a left back for Arsenal Football Club, I guess is something that could be done on a game-by-game basis, or if we need someone to do a job there, I don't want to see it. You know, I'm not trying to disrespect James Milner because he's had a great career from 16 years of age to however old he is now, won stuff and played a key role at Liverpool and Manchester City, England international. I look at Milner because Milner's versatility killed him, you know, in many ways. He's a manager's dream, probably his nightmare. Can play centre mid, can play fullback, can played out wide at one point. You know, is that what we want for Kai Havertz? Unlike, you know, with Milner, you knew he was a central midfielder that was able to play to a suitable standard elsewhere. With Kai Havertz, in my opinion, you know, you're a central midfielder, but at Arsenal, I'm yet to see anything beyond getting to grips with the off-the-ball stuff Mikel Arteta demands. And I guess with him being a central midfielder, he could invert on that left-back role. Unlike Zinchenko, he does give us height, and he's probably got more of a willingness to defend than Zinchenko. That being said, we brought you to play in midfield. For me, you need to play in the centre of the park, or Mikel Arteta needs to find a job for you to do in the front three position. So let's hope Mikel Arteta doesn't get any ideas. In relation to Vlahovic, of course, I would love Vlahovic, but it comes down to money, and specifically in January, and I'm sure he's key He's a key player of Juventus. The same goes for Douglas Luiz, who has signed a new deal recently, who is part of an Aston Villa side who are doing quite well. We spent 65 million on Kai Havertz. If you're Aston Villa, you're saying, I want that and a bit of change, especially if you want him in January. I would love Zubamendi, but that looks like a summer thing. And where the young Valencia lad is concerned, people, Garazowski, I can't pronounce his name, people, but he's 18 years of age. He's got 4 appearances for Valencia. Apparently, he's got 2 years left on his deal and has a £17 million region release clause. So it could make sense. Evidently, we're doing this youngster thing. He would tie into that. I don't know how he'd impact us right now. I don't know if he would necessarily make a suitable amount of appearances for all his quality at this moment in time in November for Arsenal. So does it make sense to leave Valencia? Obviously, we're looking for emerging talent. We have been linked with a lot of players in Mikel Arteta's homeland of Spain. I do think we want to bring in at least one more defensive recruit, but I can't see that's an area that we're going to address immediately. I think in January, the center of the park has to be the priority. If we're able to bring in or a winger or a striker, while I think they're all of equal importance, I don't think anyone would turn it down. But as I always say, there's more questions than answers where midfield's concerned. Declan Rice solves a lot of them and answers a lot of positive questions, but Partey's fitness and long-term future at the club, the same goes for Jorginho in terms of what we demand of him for an extended period. And again, he hasn't played up rumours of leaving Arsenal at the summer, but he hasn't played it down. El Nene is a good player, but players that should be phased out. In the same way, we've got some good options defensively, both in terms of what they offer on the field, people, for me, and in terms of their age range. Same goes with the players in the final third, even though improvements can be made. Again, there's more questions than answers in the middle of the park. Declan Rice, cool. And I'm talking about people that are going to play or compete for Declan Rice with his role or play in a partnership with him. Thomas Partey, quality player. Dark cloud over his long-term future at the football club. The same goes for Jorginho and El Nene to various degrees, and they're all probably on the wrong side of 30, so there isn't too much longevity. That being said, I think there's a role for such people. So for me, we need to act in the middle of the park. I am happy to see in January, I am happy to see Gabriel Jesus is fit. I hope he comes through the Argentina game unscathed, and it'll be keen to see exactly where Arsenal and Brazil are at in terms of their relations with Gabriel Jesus potentially playing as that. But we wish all the people on international break or participating for their countries in the international break the best of fitness. It doesn't surprise me to see Fabio Vieira linked with a loan move away. Minutes have been hard to come by, but as you can see, we're quite light in the middle of the park, and we need to hold on to these players. And Fabio Vieira, on occasion this season, the Community Shield, early part of the season around the Fulham fixture at home, he was one of the players that was chomping at the bit to start a game. And forgive me if I'm wrong, did he start the North London derby? I think he didn't really take his opportunity, really. So there's a lot of question marks in the middle of the park. But yeah, speaking of England and international breaks and stuff, I think Benjamin White deserves a new deal. Currently did go into this current break, with an injury, with a bit of a knock. I don't think it's a footballing reason as to why you're not in Southgate's England thinking, but, it means we can rest our players. So I think it makes sense to tie Benjamin White down to a new deal. And this will be an important contract for him because isn't he 25? I believe he's 26 odd. If you're Arsenal, you're pushing for a 4-year deal with the option of another year or a flat out 5-year deal. For Benjamin White, depending on his progress, and every season he seems to get better and gain more importance in the Arsenal team. You always want to make sure you're able to leverage that. So it all depends what happens, people. In relation to the transfer rumours, as you lot know, it comes down to a lot of factors, but specifically money. That's why for me, Zubamendi, Douglas Luiz, I can't see it happening. Zubamendi, there's a reality where you could put the £50 million release clause, but it doesn't strike me as a player that wants to leave mid-season. For Douglas Luiz, you're going to probably have to overpay. And again, rightly so, if you're Aston Villa, you're sitting there saying, yeah, £65 million for Kai Havertz. You know what Douglas Luiz is. He's a pound-for-pound central midfielder, Premier League proven in the Brazil squad, key player to what we're doing, signed a new deal, put up or shut up. He's an 8, he's a 6. Arteta, you know him well from your time at City, briefly, where you probably crossed paths. Eddie, you know all about him from your previous role, obviously in the Brazilian national team. So the links are one thing. As you know, bringing players in is a completely another thing. Every day we're linked with new players, but it makes interesting content and it makes interesting talking points for us. On the topic of talking points, please make sure you've hit the like button, you've commented, you subscribed, and as usual, big up yourselves for tuning in. Don't get enough. If you ain't got enough of your DG fits, go and check out the other videos, man. Please hit the like button, subscribe with them things there. It helps the algorithm. Stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll link up again soon.
There's always that active and defending. I think it's like